This is a coffee morning session. I'm D, and you're watching 1833. What's going on, people? So a lot to talk about today. So let's rattle through some of these things. So first things first, usually when I do these coffee morning sessions, I would have woken up, because I'm quite an early riser, done a nice walk, and by the time I've sat back down here talking to you guys, I would have done 10, 12, 13,000 steps. Ready to start my day. Today, not done that. Oh my gosh. So I said last week it was the first day of spring. And I was saying how foggy it was. But it came out lighter. And in fairness, it's been a really nice spring week in London this week. Sun's been out, sun's out now. It's had some real mild temperatures. It's been a good week. But with that, oh my gosh, my allergies have been just like hitting me non-stop, mate. I've had days. I was in the office the other day. I had to sit with my sunglasses on because between the bright lights in the office and my allergies playing out, my eyes just needed a break. So I had my sunglasses on in the office the whole day. People probably thought I was some sort of arsehole or something, some sort of dickhead trying to make some sort of fashion statement, but it's really what I needed. I actually think I need them now. I could barely keep my eyes open. And then I've had this rough night. So spring's back in a vengeance. It is what it is, but it's been nice. So that's that. So I've not done my usual routine. Last week, one of the things I said last week, because I recorded that session. Wait. Rum today is rum bar in my coffee. Yeah. Hopefully this will send me back to sleep because I need a bit of a catch up. I had a rough night last night. Anyway, finger, if you've seen that, cut myself cooking yesterday. Right, where was I? Yes, so last week I was saying, because after the whole Trump-Zelensky thing, and I was like, look, the way America's moving, the way Trump is moving, if they carry on this path in the future, they're going to get to a scenario where they're going to need some help with an issue, and no one's going to back them. And I don't know if everyone understands how NATO works, but I'm going to give you one of the key things about NATO. NATO has an article called Article 5. I don't know it verbatim, but it basically says an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. So for 9/11, America invoked that article, which meant all NATO members were involved in the war in Afghanistan to some degree. America is the only country to have invoked Article 5. So just remember that. Apart from like civil wars, or maybe the war against the British. I think they may have had a war against the French in like the 18 or 1700s, something like that. Americans never fought a war on their own. Even Vietnam, they had soldiers from, I believe, Australia. So Americans never fought a war on their own. So I said that last week. And then J.D. Vance comes out and then insults two of America's biggest allies, two of America's biggest allies when it comes to war efforts and economic efforts, two nuclear countries on this side of the world, and thousands of soldiers who stood side by side in the trenches with American soldiers. And I mean that figuratively and literally as well. And he basically came out and he tried to walk it back, but he basically said, I'm going to paraphrase somewhat, but he basically said, look, There's no point Ukraine getting back up from some random countries with 20 odd thousand fighters who've never seen any war in their life. It's a waste of time. They ain't good for no one. And at that point, he'd made that statement. The only two countries that said, yes, we'll put soldiers on the ground were the English and the French. Now, even if you put that to one side, and he said, oh, because you had to say, I wasn't talking about the English and French. Most of the European Union are in NATO. So that means most countries, if not all countries, have had some involvement in some wars recently fighting with Americans. To some degree. Some lesser, some greater. So he really came out and so really insulted a lot of people. A lot of people lost their lives. A lot of people have been injured. Like, Americans seems to have like this. What I understand, what I don't like about America when I see America is, I think America's a bit cultish, and I think they're a bit insular. And I don't blame Trump for this. He's just taking this to another degree. And what I mean by cultish, I think it's weird that everything you do, you have the national anthem playing. I think it's weird that in schools you have to pledge allegiance to a flag. That's weird. It's not something you see in many, if any, other countries. You don't go to other sporting events and just a random, under 14s baseball match or under 14s football match and they have the national anthem playing. That's just weird. It's not normal. So that's what I mean. It's a bit cultish. You're very, very much, and then you have this idea that nothing exists outside of America. So the World Series is an American thing. I think maybe one other countries involved now, but it used to be a very much only American thing. You seem to think that a lot of Americans generally believe that American football, the Super Bowl, is bigger than the World Cup. It's not. Outside of America, only a handful of people watch the Super Bowl. It doesn't compare to the hundreds of millions of people watch the World Cup globally. Or maybe rephrase. Outside North America, not many people watch Super Bowl. People globally watch the World Cup. It's not even comparable. Maybe, I don't know the details, but maybe what the Super Bowl generates more cash. I'd argue that because Americans are very braggadocious and things have to be large. So that I could believe. But it's not a bigger sporting competition. It's not. It just really isn't. It's preposterous to even think that. So, and then very insular because a lot of people in America don't leave the country, don't do passports. Again, they think that they are the be all and end all, which is going to be a downfall. Look, it is what it is. I don't know the future, but I just know that this is not a good look for the US. And all it's going to do, and all it's going to do, is just like with this trade wars thing that Donald Trump is on off about. he's doing a hokey cokey in out. But just like that. If you force the Europeans, like you're doing now, to stop working with you, all that happens is the Europeans become an adversary. And maybe not a direct adversary, but an adversary economically in terms of military power. So at the moment, like I said before, the Europeans will spend lots of money on buying American items. If we no longer see America as reliable partners, why would you buy your stuff? Your military industrial complex is built on, yes, the Americans buying American weapons, but also being able to export that parts of the world. So you just cut up a big customer base. It's gonna impact you. It's not as straightforward as, we don't need you. Things are intertwined. Anyway, that's enough on that one. Just moving on slowly. We're covering a lot of things. Okay, so I'm running through things. So I want to do a couple of shout outs. I wanted to shout out to the Vanilla Developer and Glasgow Whiskey. You are 2 new subscribers. Thank you for joining the channel. My catchphrase is always to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. Like, share, subscribe. Let this rum channel grow. Okay, today I'm going out to Lucky Cane and I'm doing rum making. So I'm gonna make a bottle of rum and I will review that on the channel. I think I did that about 2 years ago, so I'm doing it again this year. So I'm looking forward to that. There was a pet peeve I wanted to bring up a couple of weeks ago that I hadn't chance. So I'm gonna ramble on about that one today as well. So look, I live out in the suburbs. People will argue I live in London. People will argue I live in Kent. It's one of those sort of border sort of. I consider I live in London. I pay London council taxes. I have Metropolitan Police. I have London Fire Brigade. So I'm very much Londoner in my eyes, even though my postcode may not be a London postcode. It's just complicated. Greater London. I'm in M25, so it's London. I said this because I live in suburbia. So I work in town, work in the city of London. And it's just annoying because when I order my coffee, right, and I'm in London, the baristas are like, bap, 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 bap. They move, man. The queues may be at the door, but the queues move, yeah? When I'm down there and I order coffee, same chain, sometimes the same chain, not always goes chain, but sometimes in the same chain, even if not in a chain, just doesn't matter. Just the baristas down here, they're so bloody slow. I'll be in a shop, right? There's like 3 of us. And I'm like, why is it taking you so long to make a bloody coffee? Why can I be number 50 in London and be served in 3 minutes, be number 2 here and be waiting for a coffee for 10 minutes? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, do they send people who can't quite cut it in central London out to the suburbs to make coffee? Or do they say, all right, you go train in the suburbs, you train at a nice slow pace so we can take your time, we can hold your hand before you throw you into the fiery inferno of a central London coffee shop. But whatever it is, it's annoying. It just takes way, way, way too long. I'm not feeling it. And even when I pre-order, so if I'm in a bit of a rush, right, I will do the click and collect. So I'll pre-order it on the way to the coffee shop. So I'll pick it up, walk out, and continue what I'm doing. And even that takes a bloody age. And I'm not a complicated coffee kind of guy. I am literally flat white, either oat or coconut milk, and that's it. Easy order. Sometimes I might have a double shot and a little bit of syrup. It's not a complicated order. It's an in and out order. It always just takes so long. Maybe I'm just being old and miserable. Talk about being old and miserable. As you guys know, I'm going dumb rep soon. I don't usually talk about my trips before I go on the trips, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I want to blog it a little bit. So I'm going to do the whole getting ready on the way to the airport, at the airport, and the whole show. So I'm going to try to vlog it a little bit. Just bring you guys into my world a little bit. I'm not good. I'm not like on this whole social media thing. So I'm on YouTube, but I'm not good at doing all this. I'm trying to make a definite effort to do this. So you got to bear with me a little bit. So I'm going to try to do that. My friends say I'm a bit bougie, and this is what and you'll see a little bit of this when I'm traveling, because I don't like traveling during rush hour. So I try to avoid like mid-morning flights because you've got to travel during rush hour. I try to avoid early evening flights if I can. So it's not like a hassle being around people all the time. I don't travel unless I can afford parking at the airport, because trains and whatever. I've also, well, firstly, because I think it's a bit long, trying to travel with luggage. Let me rephrase, I don't do long haul trips unless I can park at the airport. I don't mind a short weekend thing where I've got a rucksack or a small bag, that's okay. I think it's rude, I think it's a bit inconsiderate, I think it's a bit long. Trying to cover a whole bunch of luggage on public transport when people are trying to go about the day, trying to go to school, trying to go to work, and you take up all this space. I think it's inconsiderate, rude. You got to include that. I have be able to park or taxi. I like parking because I can just don't have to worry about flagging out calling an Uber, you're taking waiting for it. All that. I just get out of the airport. Meet and greet meets me. Collect my car keys. Jump in my car. Drive home. It's like the convenience. I only fly economy classes on flights that are under 4 hours long. It's great. If it's 4 and a bit hours, I still might consider it. Anything over 5 hours, though, got to be business class. Otherwise, I can't afford to go. So otherwise, I'm not going anywhere. Also, I like to pack early. I'm not a last minute packer. I like to get my ducks in a row beforehand. But you see all this as I go through this journey with you, as I document this journey over the next couple of weeks. Cool. Look, it's been a bit of a ramble, covering lots of areas. I guess the last thing I wanted to sort of bring up is I was talking to some pals the other day. Talking about football. And I was saying, my argument basically was, for the last 2 to 3 seasons, Mikel Arteta has known that we need a forward. We've needed a prolific striker at Arsenal. And so to be in a position of where we are today, we've got your whole forward line is injured and away, is negligible and poor management. And my friend was like, oh, but these injuries, doesn't matter. When you're a big football club, right, or supposedly a big football club, you always have targets. You have moving targets. You have scouts and you have a bunch of players who you have your eye on. So that if anything happens to a player, they get stayed late, so they don't want to leave, they get injury, whatever it is, you have an ongoing developing shortlist you maintain on a regular basis of players in each position who you want to pick up. So it's inexcusable that you can go 2 or 3 seasons and not have bought one of the players on that shortlist. It doesn't make any sense. That's why the whole point of having a shortlist that you maintain on a regular basis. It's negligible also because you know how many matches you won. Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal board knew this time last year that this year they're going to have all these competitions they're going to be fighting on. So they're aware that, okay, look, if we're going to be playing Premier League, we're going to be playing Champions League, if we're going to be playing FA Cup, we're going to be playing League Cup, we need to have a squad that can fight on all these levels. So you look at your squad and say, look, do we have enough cover in all these positions for all these competitions, for all these matches we could potentially be playing? You're not going to play, obviously, unlike you're going to win all 4 and play all competitions, but you do know, on average, you're going to be playing about 50 matches in a season. So do you have a squad that's fit for 50 matches? Do you have a squad that can play on a Thursday, Sunday, Wednesday, Tuesday? Or Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, right? And you look at it and say, right, so you plan accordingly. So if you haven't planned for that, you're poor at your job. That's a fundamental part of your job. Not just tactics, it's about managing your team, managing your I don't like the term resources. We use that term at work. I hate it. Managing your people. So if you haven't done that, you failed. That's what I say. So that's one issue I had. Another issue I had is we've got an issue scoring. He's like, oh no, we got a great forward line. So the Premier League, we've scored, last time I checked in the Premier League, we checked it last week, and I think Arsenal were third or fourth top scorers as a club. And I said, that's all well and good. But, and his argument was, oh, numbers don't lie, we're not so bad, blah, blah, blah. We got fourth best attack and second or first best defence. So it's like, we're punching, we're doing well, we're where-ish where we're supposed to be. And my argument was like, no. Because it's all well and good beating teams 5-0 or 5-1 or 5-2, right? That's okay. But when you're supposed to be beating your Fulhams 1-0 or 2-0 and you're not doing that, that's a problem. The argument isn't we've not scored enough goals. The argument is that the distribution of goals is not enough. That's why we dropped points. And he was just not, I don't know if he was being obtuse or just wasn't getting my point. And I hope you get it. I'm sure there's some trying to get, I want to see if I'm wrong here. It doesn't matter. If you have scored 10 goals, right? You could have scored 7 goals in one game and then won the next 3 matches 1-0, right? So you've won a total of 4 matches, right? You got a total of 12 points. Or you can just win every match. You can win 10 matches, 1-0 and score 10 goals in every of those matches. Now on paper, you look down and you say, oh yeah, you both scored 10 goals, so you did okay. But no, it's not just that, it's a return. One of those clubs has won 4 matches, secured 12 points. The other team has won 10 matches and scored 30 points. Numbers don't lie, but numbers can tell the story you want them to tell. Another argument I had is based around forward line strikers. I said, and I don't argue this all day long, especially if you're a club, actually it don't even matter, but especially if you're a club fighting for silverware. This is I stand by this. And I said, I'd rather have a striker. If I had to choose 2 strikers, one who's going to score me, 50 goals in a season, but one striker only scores me 15, right? If the 50 goal a season striker is the striker that only scores the 4th goal in a 4-2 win, he's this 50 goal striker. He's a flat track bully, so his goals generally only contribute to your goal difference. Or this guy scored 15 goals, 20 goals, but all of his goals contribute to points. So what I mean by that, this guy is the guy who scores a first goal. So if he scores the first goal, you shut up shop, you got 3 points. He's the guy who scores the equaliser. So you're winning 1-0, you're losing 2-1, he scores you that second goal, you got a point. He's the guy that if it's 2-2, if it's 1-0, he scored the winning goal. So he doesn't score a lot of goals, but the goals he scores are important goals. They are point-winning goals. Now on paper, you say, well, this guy scored 50 goals, he's the better striker. Have him all day long. And my argument is, no, he's not the better striker because points are worth more than goal difference. Especially if you're not fighting relegation. If you're trying to win things, the points on the table are worth more than the goal difference. And again, we were going back and forth. He says you're up at that guy and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're a fool. That's what I was basically saying. But am I the fool? Am I the fool that says I'd rather have the striker who scores least goals but scores most important goals than the guy who's banging them in, week out? This guy is scoring every freaking match. But he's scoring goals that don't really mean much in a match. Anyway, I've been rambling here for ages. There are a few things I wanted to get off my chest. So thank you for hanging around and listen to what I had to say.